Is that all we have on it then? Is 4 minutes?
No.
Okay.
I said that it was good for another 4 minutes before resetting.
So, to talk a little bit about your background, have you been incarcerated?
Yeah, I was incarcerated 2 times. Once was about my friends. They did something towards, I guess, a young boy. They didn't really have any evidence or anything on me. Like the guy said, I didn't do anything to him. But the fact that I didn't know anything and I was raised here never to snitch on nobody, basically a prodigy of the ghetto, something that I have to get away from. That's how I see it. I didn't say anything. To me personally, I didn't know anything. So I felt it was my best interest to be quiet, period. Not only that, if I was to make up a lie and say anything, then people were going to come chase me down in the streets because I lied. Now, if I actually did know something, you know, at the time I felt like, dang, that's a little boy. But I was still a part of from where I'm from. I'm still a part of Oakland. This is what we was taught, never to say anything. So I kept myself quiet. And you know what it got me? It got me a big experience in jail. I spent 6 months up in there, and the whole time, you know, I had a bunch of OGs like you a youngster, woo, 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 but you humble. Your spirit is very, you know, humbling. You like an old soul. So they talked to me more, and they really got me to understand, like, I've been here 20 years. I've been here 30 years. This is what I've been doing for 30, 40 years. Like, this is my life, going in and out of jail to the point where I understood I ain't even got to be there. That's when I first started understanding the most gangsters in the world respected me because I dance. I got all the respect because I dance. And I'm from Oakland, and I guess if it come down to it, I would prefer to use my hands over guns. But personally, it ain't no point about it. And the people in jail respected that about me. And considering that I was in jail in maximum security with murderers, a rapist actually came in there, I was like, why am I up in this part of the jail and I didn't do anything? I know it was a big wake-up call for me, though. Like, I understood why not to go back. I understood why to change my life around, because just because I was in that maximum security and I held my own, they gave me that respect. But what also gave them the respect is because I wanted to change where I'm from. I love where I'm from, and I really respect where I'm from, but I want to change it and make it better, because nobody want to come here and make something of Oakland, but I do, and a lot of people in there respected that overall. Forget the violence, forget being a thug, forget if you the hardest person in here, you a nice, cool, young dude, and you want to change where you from. Bring back Oakland, something they proud of.
Oh, the battery's dead?
No, it's not. It's going down.
Down? Okay. So we'll just have to be quick with stuff. Okay. So can you talk, you said briefly that you went from living in a park to a house. So you want to talk about that experience?
Basically, when I was young, I was only like a baby I can remember, but I remember People's Park, you know, very vaguely, you know, sleeping up in People's Park up in Berkeley. Like, I ain't gonna lie, man, when I was, you know, grow up, I was like, wow, like, I can remember the soup kitchens, going in the soup kitchens up in Berkeley, where the churches up in Berkeley was feeding me, like, really feeding me. And, you know, to this day, like, I think about, like, all the things I want to do. And it's basically the same things that, those people did for me, like, feeding me. I'm standing in a line full of 100 people, but because, you know, my mom got kids and, you know, it's me and my brothers, we get to go to the front of the line. They showing us a lot of love. And, you know, I lived in a shelter before too. Like literally, like, I never, like, now that I grow up, I was like, man, I can't ever let my son go through that. I work hard every day just so I can make sure he won't ever have to go through that. And I see, like, although I lost my brother, you know, the gun violence, I see the path that he was on was like, let's get this business going, because we can't ever go back to living in a park. And, you know, that's when my mom finally got out of the park, when he was born. Like, he was about to be born, like, months, he was coming, and, you know, my birthday just passed, you know. I'm like 1.5, you know, she's pregnant with my brother, and he's coming in February. Like, she started to get her a placement. But the whole time, like, from when I was born till then, I was in a park. Like, I lived in a park. Like, when I look at it, I be like, people look at me, they're like, you got swag, you got this, you got that, bro. You go, bro. You raw at rapping, you raw at dancing. You know, all the girls be on you. But they don't know my history, knowing that I lived in a park and I done been through the biggest struggle. Like, the fact that, like, you know, I did live in a park. At one point when I was younger, it made me want to get out there and get money and do what I did, you know, to have everything, like, you know, go be a ladies' man just so I can have a bunch of girls and I'll never have to live in a park. I never have to, if I want to go and sleep somewhere, I can call a girl or something. It made me something, you know, I wasn't. So I had to understand, like, through all those struggles, you know, I can be a better person. And like that's what I strive to be, because I don't ever want to go back to living in the park. I won't ever jeopardize myself or my future or anything else just to go back to living in the park. Because when you leave the penitentiary or you leave this world in a coffin, you basically going back to a park. And when you leave this world in a penitentiary ways and you just in a penitentiary, when you finally get out there giving you $255 and a bus ticket to come back to wherever you from, so basically you're going to be living in a park because ain't nobody going to hire nobody from jail. So I just don't ever want to get back to there. I even been, you know, in foster care too. My brother who died, you know, basically I guess once he got here, it was like me and him experienced all our struggles and stuff together. Like we experienced living life and being out here in these streets together, because when we got took from my mom, that's who I was with. I was with me and him, and we was took from my mom for about like a couple of months, probably like 2 or 3 months. I'm not sure, like I can barely remember, but I just remember the fact that I had to dress up and spend Halloween away from my mama. I don't ever, like, I'm a mama's boy. I don't care what nobody say. I respect my mama because it's the only person I had in my life. So it's just I don't ever want to experience being away from my mama or being away from my son. I want to be able to grow up and show people like they ain't got to go through that neither. Because I mean, you know, sometimes it ain't your fault that you get, you know, taken away from your parents. But a lot of times nowadays, these kids and like these youngsters, that's the reason. It's their own fault because they want to be hotheads and they want to listen to the rest of their friends who ain't going to get them nowhere. And like I tell them, like, you be your own leader. It better be a leader than a follower. Now I know I can be a leader. That's all I do is lead. I don't follow.
Okay. Can you share a little bit about losing your brothers and how that affected your life? And I know that you weren't really dancing so much before, right? The Dancing in the Rain video.
Like before, like the Dancing in the Rain video, RP Rich, my brother Richard Davis is my god brother. You know, when I was younger, that's my brother. Like that's my brother. You know, when I was growing up, I wanted to look a certain way. I go to him because I really didn't know what swag was or whatever or whatnot. And there's somebody who's positive and everything else, so it made me think like, oh yeah, I could go to him and be around him because it kind of got me away from the streets. And I ain't gonna lie, before the day that he died, like I seen him earlier that day, and he was like, dance, bro, go back to dancing. It's gonna get you everywhere you need to be. Get back into music because that's what you good at. Don't be out here in these streets, that's not you. And to hear him say that, it made me like, all right, I'm gonna come back to dancing. But I still didn't take it serious. But the next day, you know, everybody like, your brother died and blah, blah, blah. I didn't believe it. So I had to go on the internet and really figure out and call his mom and everything and really figure out if he died. And I figured out he died. It hurt my soul. Like, it was like somebody I looked up to died. Like, somebody that helped me get somewhere in life when it comes down to me being a part, like, of fashion, because I love fashion and designing. He helped me. When I was thinking, like, doing backflips and stuff was nerdy, he made a bunch of gangsters get on the football field and do backflips with me. Like, people that's fighting and killing people when I was younger, I'm like, y'all gangsters. Y'all thugs. But they doing flips with me on a football field just like it's a thing to do. So it was like, I felt like my biggest tribute to him would be back to dancing, but also my biggest tribute to myself would be back to dancing. And that's how I came along to my brother who recently died to gun violence, because my brother Richard, he died in a hit and run. My brother who died in gun violence, he was the one who was like, man, he seen how much it hurted me to have a big inspiration in my life, because besides, you know, Richard is my little brother. Like, we used to tell each other, I'm your daddy, you my daddy, because we grew up without a dad, so we really bonded on each other and really kept each other in line. And like I said, we lived our life together, meaning as we was in these streets being bad, we was doing everything together, and we started our record thing. Dimes World ENT, we started that together. It was basically like, that's my world. My little brothers is everything to me, all my little brothers. But what was everything to my brother was us. So, and my son, you know, he was like our first nephew, our first mini us. So it was like we named our record entertainment business like after him, like Dimes World ENT, like it's his world. And the reason why we did it that way is because it's like, it's somebody young that's going to have to grow up and potentially, you know, have his chance at being somebody big in this world, being president maybe, you never know. So we just was focusing like on the people that's coming after us. And, you know, before he died, he always told me like literally the day before he died, he told me, go to do my tattoo party, because I do freelance tattooing. And he like, go do your tattoo party. And I'm going to see you later on tonight. You know, make sure you do everything you got to do to protect my nephew, my mama, and take care of my mama. Don't get out here acting stupid. You know, 5 minutes after I get off, 20 minutes after I get off the phone with him, he died. But 5 minutes before that happened, like, I had the biggest, like, I couldn't breathe. Like, that's how close me and my brother was. I was gasping for air, you know, and I'm signing on Facebook. I can't breathe. Like, I'm trying to figure out the best way to breathe. I'm like, man, you know what? I need to get out this car. I'm on my way to the tattoo thing. I need to get out this car. You know, I can't breathe. I stopped the car and everything. I get out and I couldn't breathe. And I'm signing on Facebook, and I get a Facebook message saying my brother just got shot. You know, I raced to my brother, and I'm get there at the same time as the ambulance, the police, and it just was like, wow, this how they treat you when you die? This what they do? Like, it just made me think, like, I don't ever want to see that. I just want to make it better. Like, I'm tired of it being killings. Like, I mean, look, my mom telling me about the news. It was 7 deaths in 7 days. Somebody died every day. And like, that's, like, irritating. Like, it's people that you grow up with. You supposed to be able to tell your kids, like, I went to school with him. It's people that I may not be all close with them, buddy, but I know we still on common grounds. We still associates. We still friends to the point where I don't even have that many people I went to school with in elementary and middle school. Like, they're gone. They're dead or in jail for life. So it just, like, once he left here, he told me, like, you don't ever get back in the streets. I leave here. We had a conversation. Like, if I die,
Reset. Okay.